This is Calvin Castine. It's September 6th, 2002. We're at Northeastern Clinton Central School, or cross country. This is the modified version. Should be 4 teams represented there. I'm not sure if there are, if Lake Placid has a modified team. Saranac, Northeastern, Ausable Valley, and Lake Placid. Frank Woodward is making his way over here, and he'll be passing along all the information we need to know as this event progresses and we get into the varsity competition. Boys and girls run at the same time, but they are running separate races. Frank Woodward, it's very hard to sneak up on somebody today. That grass is so dry, it just crunches under your feet. It's a very sad sound to hear, really.
Well, it's good for the racing, though. It'll be a very fast course today. The only problem is that it's very hot. It's near 90 degrees. It shouldn't affect the modified race very much. It's only a mile, 1.4 miles, so they're hardly getting a warm-up, although these kids are pretty young. 7th, 8th graders for the most part, some 9th graders. And the winner of this race should probably win it in the vicinity of 8 to 8.5 minutes, which would be about 5.5 minutes a mile, something like that, for a mile and 4/10. If they go under 8 minutes, that's a tremendous time for a 7th or 8th grader, which is usually what is competing in this race.
The hay in that field doesn't look like it's been mowed at all this summer.
It hasn't.
It's burying the kids.
It is, and Brian Power was telling me that the course, when it was mown, that they made a couple errors in it, and it could be confusing to some of the runners. The course is confusing anyway if you're not familiar with it. So there's a lot of loops in it.
Well, that's the home field advantage then.
It is definitely home field advantage.
Yeah, let's before we get caught down this end, let's shut the camera off and wander up more toward the finish line, and we can pick them up as they come along.
We're looking north, and as you can see, the runners go through the trees and come out in that open area. Here comes a couple more runners. We're a little too far away to identify what school they're from. There's a couple Northeastern runners. You can see the burgundy on their outfits. They go down through the trees, which used to be the old farmstead there. That's why you got the, what type of bushes are those that you see?
A lot of sumacs.
Sumac. Anytime you see the ruins of an old house or something, you'll see sumac. Well, that's what it was. There was a brick farmhouse and outbuildings in that area. It wasn't too long ago, maybe about 25 years ago, the brick farm building was, the house was destroyed, knocked down.
Now you realize, Frank, that some 7th or 8th grader is going to hear you say that and say, 25 years ago, not too long ago.
That's true.
What's he talking about?
As
a million years ago.
We're looking down over the crest of the hill there. You see the background of the cornfield. You can see the runners sprinting down the hill. They're probably about 3/4. They're probably about halfway. The ones going down the hill are probably about halfway through the race. You couldn't ask for a better viewing day of a race. You look around this from the athletic fields here, and it's one of the more spectacular settings for athletic fields that I've seen in my career, watching athletics all over New York State and New England. It's gorgeous. And that's what cross country is all about. You get this beautiful fall weather, and running in these beautiful settings. What more could you ask? I only wish I were 16 again.
That's at least 25 years ago, too.
It is. It is at least 25 years ago. I just celebrated a birthday that,
A milestone, was
a
it?
milestone.
You won't say which one.
It was with trepidation, but now it took me about 3 months to recover for it, but now I'm recovered, yeah. I'm officially an old geezer now. So you can take that for what it's worth. The lead runner had quite a lead. It's hard to there he is. I think that's him right there. Well, the other runners have closed up on him quite a bit. He had about a 50 or 60 yard lead going down the hill, but I see a couple runners have closed the distance on him. The second runner is only about maybe 15 yards behind him, and then the third place runner is about 10 yards behind him. The fourth place runner and about another 10 yards. So he apparently went out too fast, and it's hot out here, and of course it's a hilly course, and it takes a lot out of you. You can see him coming up the rise. He'll be coming in front of the sumacs in a second there. There he comes now. He's lengthening his lead as he goes up the hill. Apparently pretty strong hill runner. There he's running right in front of the sumacs now. He's got a good 20-yard lead on the second place runner. It looks like it's a Saranac runner. He looks like he's probably a 9th grader.
Looks like at least the first 4 are Saranac.
1, 2, all red. Fourth one is red. So I would say, yeah, the fifth looks to be red also. I don't see any burgundy or Lake Placid. I don't think Lake Placid has a modified. But he's just cruising in now. He's got a big lead. The way he's running, looks like he's good varsity material right now. Saranac. 8:18 was the winning time, which is just about what I predicted they'd do for the course. About 5.5 minutes a mile, which is pretty good pace. About the first 3 runners are going to be under 9 minutes. That's pretty good. And the 5th place runner is a young lady.
The 5th place runner's in first place.
She's the first female finisher. Running really well. Figure there's probably 25, 30 runners in this race. She finished 5th, and most of the others are boys, so she ran really well. To be complimented on her running ability. There's one thing about Jim Medeiros at Saranac. He's like Brian Powers at Northeastern. He gets a lot of kids out to run, you know. He's a good coach, very good coach, very enthusiastic, as is Mr. Powers. Here comes a Northeastern runner. And I see a couple blue shirts from Lake Placid.
Or Ausable. Which one doesn't have the modified, you know?
It's
probably Ausable.
Probably Ausable, but they have red shirts too, so it's hard to tell if there are any Ausable runners here. I'd have to take a look at the shirt as it comes across.
Yeah, the Ausable colors are red, white, and blue, so it comes with the...
Here comes a Northeastern runner. He's a little confused as to where the finish line is, but he's doing well.
Back bar, I think.
Yeah. There's a Patriot right there. Ausable. They got blue. They got their blue on.
Normally this time of the year you can tell where the track is here, the path is, but
not this year. The grass hasn't grown at all. We've had such a tremendously hot summer.
38, 2 of them came in that time.
Comes one of my neighbors here, one of the Duffy girls.
47.
Giving it her all. And here comes her mother, encouraging her on.
last number. 20, okay, just tell them their number. I'm writing on the back.
The girl just went by the sumacs there. She had to stop and take a breather there.
11:27.
Really is hot today, 90 degree. I've run marathons in 90-degree weather, and it's not pleasant. Doesn't take long to get in trouble. Hard to get in trouble with a mile and 4/10 race, but these are young kids
11:48.
just getting a taste of what it's like to run.
And anybody with any allergies at all, Frank, this air is
This-
awfully dry.
it
and full of
is.
pollen.
It is. Speaking of that, my son, he has allergies, and he takes makes his asthma act up. He has to take his pump there with him before he races.
12:13.
We still have a couple more runners on the course that are just at the top of the hill coming down through the gate. That gate is the 3-mile mark on the 5K course. So when they go through that gate on the 5K, which is 3.1 miles, they got 1/10 of a mile to the finish line. There's also a gate at 2 miles. So you can gauge pretty well where the runners are on the course in terms of the distance they've run. Looks like we got quite a race here to see who's going to not finish last. Well, the Northeastern runners in a little trouble there. She's giving it her all. She's going to finish. Be commended for that.
Still going in a forward motion.
That's right. There she goes.
13:32.
So 8:18 was the winning time. The last runner across the finish line was 13:32.
Yeah, walk it off, honey.
That's and she walked some of it. 13:32 is about 8 minutes a mile. So you figure most adults that might watch this program sometime in the future. That young lady that finished in last place averaged about 8 minutes a mile for that mile and a half, which for an adult that would be a tremendous accomplishment to be able to run that fast.
Getting set for the varsity. Frank was getting a little more information regarding the Ausable runners. Frank's son Garrett, a senior this year, so we're going to probably be losing Frank at the microphone. But for the last couple of seasons, it's been a real addition having Frank Woodward doing the commentary during the cross country and the track. And here they come. He'd better get out of the way. He's going to get run over.
And here we go with the start of the 5K varsity race. That's Travis Dragoon in the lead. Travis really came on during track season. He's only a sophomore. Saranac has the nephew of the coach, Kyle Jones from New Hampshire. 2 years he finished second in the Northeastern Region Foot Locker race. Of course, most people watching this would not know what that is all about, but the Foot Locker race is they have regionals for the national championship. They have 5 or 6 regionals. They have Northeast Regional, Southeast Regional, Midwest, Southwest, Western Regional, and he finished second in the Northeast Regional, which is one of the most competitive, as a sophomore, and went to the National Foot Locker. But I was just talking to his coach, his uncle, Jim Medeiros, and he said he was out all last year. They thought he had a very serious disease, but apparently it was misdiagnosed what he really had, but he hasn't run in a year, and he's a little short on conditioning. But he should be a factor in the race. So Travis Dragoon is currently leading. I believe the second place runner right now is is the Lee kid from Lake Placid.
Do they have to run through this mowed and side raked hay there? Do you know?
Well, yeah, they do, because you can see if you pan your camera right down by this cone here, the path comes right up through the real thick hay there, and it goes through. It goes around over by the maple tree, so they do have to go through that. Now I see the second place runner, I believe, is Saranac runner. I think it's the coach's son, Matt Medeiros. I'm not sure. He's really tall. The third place runner is that Jonathan Lee from Lake Placid, who really has a lot of potential. And you fall back to some of the northeastern runners. On a day like today, if you go out too fast, you go out for 5 minutes for that first mile on a 90-degree day today, and you're going to be in trouble, because this is a hilly, tough course. And of course, in this time of the year around here, we're not used to 90-degree weather. We've had quite a bit of it this summer, but a lot of the guys that are running here today did not train a lot during the summer, so this type of weather is really difficult to run in. Okay, they just came out of the sumac, and that's Matt Medeiros in the lead. The second place runner is Travis Dragoon. The third place runner is Jonathan Lee from Lake Placid, and I believe the fourth place runner, I think, is that Kyle Jones who we were talking about. Fifth place runner is another Saranac runner. The sixth place runner is the first northeastern runner. That's my son Garrett Woodward. And then you got the seventh place runner is Rob Menard.
You say your son was the first northeastern runner, or about Travis?
Excuse me, I misspoke there. He's a second runner. Freudian slip there. I'm probably wishing that he was the first place runner, right?
He's pacing himself.
Yeah, well, that's you know, I've talked to him about weather like this.
Come below this cone here, right?
Yeah.
Run over.
Travis is still leading. Travis is a very fluid runner. As you can see, he comes up the hill. He's nice, long, easy stride, good running ability. Here comes Rob Menard up the hill. Two more northeastern runners, Tyler Gay. Here comes Tyler up the hill. Danny Trombley. These last two northeastern runners that just passed us, I'm not familiar what their names are, but they're running a pretty good race right now. So Mr. Power so far has done his homework with his runners. He's got quite a few toward the front of the pack.
And we will be showing this in the Channel 15 viewing area, which will include Wilmington, which is part of the Lake Placid School District, and of course Saranac and Ausable Valley.
Ausable Valley.
So
I
apologize for not knowing all their names, but just knowing the Cougar names is beyond.
The Ausable Valley has an incomplete team. Here comes the first two Saranac runners. Caitlin Herdick is the first place girl for Northeastern. Then we got Sarah Paul and Emily Medeiros were the second and third place female runners. I was talking to the Ausable Valley boys. They only have a team with two runners, and they have no girls team in the varsity race today. So, which is sort of puzzling, because over the years they've had some really good runners. Here comes Radar Wilson. That's not his real first name, but everybody calls him that.
His real first name is Sonar, right?
Radar's a good kid. He's had some hard times. Currently finishing high school, and he's living on his own. And commendable. To help guide the runners through that mown hay, I see they put out some cones, which is helpful because they make on the finished part of the course, they make a loop down through there and then back up the hill and through the sumac.
Nice job.
You pan down over the valley, here's a beautiful view on a day like today.
And here's a not so beautiful view here. Cougar fans. Now it's getting better. The view's getting better now.
You can see the runners as you pan down along the ridge there, just running up the ridge over that hill. They'll disappear again, and then they have a loop where they run. They come out. You can see the soccer, where the soccer scoreboard is. That general vicinity there. They come out of the woods over there and loop down along the tree line where the old Rutland Railroad tracks used to be, and then they make a loop down along the lower flat here and up the hill again.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the scoring, Frank?
The scoring in cross country is just as you finish. You finish first, you get your point total is 1. It's an inverse scoring system where the team with the least amount of points wins. A perfect score for cross country would be 15. That means your runners finish 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
So if you have an incomplete team, then you can't really compete then, right?
No, but you can use your runners for runners on an incomplete team can be a factor because they can displace another runner and cost them a point or two. Like say if you got a team that's got incomplete team and they have a runner that finishes 6th, and a team with a complete team has that pushes that team's runner maybe back to 7th place. So they're a factor in the race, even though they don't, for a final score, they do not count for a team score.
We have our leaders.
Yeah, our leaders are both the Saranac runners. The leader in first place is, I think that's Matt Medeiros. I can't see with the sun, it's pretty bright. No, that's that's Kyle Jones. Matt Medeiros is in 2nd place. Travis Dragoon is in 3rd place. He's lost quite a bit of ground to these two Saranac runners. But the important thing is that Northeastern place their top 5 in front of Saranac's 5th runner, and ideally in front of their 4th and 5th runners. If that happens, they could win the meet. So we got Saranac 1st and 2nd, so that's 3 points toward their team total right there.
Fourth.
They got first, second, and fourth, so they got 7 points right there. We got Northeastern's got third place and fourth, sixth, and seventh. The sixth place runner is Garrett, my son. The seventh place runner is Rob Menard. Lake Placid, Jonathan Lee is the runner in front of him. He's a very talented runner. It's hard to say if they're going to beat him or not because he might just be hoarding his strength for the end of it. Garrett just passed him, and Rob Menard is moving up on him.
Okay, how far into the race are we right there?
We're at about 2.25 miles. You got about a mile to go. If you look down, toward where that silo is in the distance there, you see the white gate. You see some runners in red approaching it now. That's the 2-mile mark.
All right, we're almost at a point where we ought to head toward the finish line.
We are.
Okay, that's what we're going to do.
We weren't on the air, but we just turned it back on. The first place runner, Kyle Jones, was confused as to where the course went, and he had about a 20-yard lead. And instead of taking a left, as Travis Dragoon is doing right now, just past the backstop there, he took a right and lost his lead, enabling his teammate Matt Medeiros to catch up with him. But now he's got about a 10-yard lead as they go by the Sumacs here. So the first two runners are from Saranac, Kyle Jones and Matt Medeiros. And as they go under that gate, as I mentioned in the modified race, that's the 3-mile mark. So they got 1/10 of a mile to go. And with that downhill there, they can really sprint that if it's a close and they got sprint speed. But there's nobody from another team near them, so they're just cruising in. They probably should do in the vicinity of 17 minutes and something for 5Ks. 17:15 right now as they come into the finish. And here comes Travis Dragoon through the 17:27 winning time. 17:34 for second place. Now here comes the first Northeastern runner, Travis Dragoon. As you can see, he's got a very fluid, easy running style. A lot of potential. 17:52 for Travis. Now, what Northeastern's got to do is pack their second, third, fourth, and fifth runners in before the fourth and fifth runners of Saranac. And now here comes Garrett Woodward. He's the second Northeastern. Rob Menard just passed Jonathan Lee. So they've beaten the two that they have to beat in terms of the team score. So right now Northeastern has 3 people in the top 5. Got third, fourth, and fifth. Saranac's got first and second.
Saranac had fourth also.
They had 4, so okay, I missed that runner. So they got first, second, and fourth. Northeastern's got third, fifth, and sixth so far. So it's going to be very tight for the. That's Lee, another talented runner. Here comes I believe this is is this the Saranac runner also? Danny Tremblay is having a race with the Saranac runner. They're just going through the 3-mile mark. Any hope at all, he has to beat this guy.
I think that
Is that a...
This is the fifth Saranac runner here, and it's only the fourth Cougar runner.
Yeah, so Saranac's going to win. Nice run by Danny. He really sucked it up there and finished strong. He did what he could do. Here comes the incomplete team from Ausable. This is Michael Chat from Ausable. Here's Andrew Goodrich, I believe.
Off the course!
There's another Saranac runner. Here comes Tyler Gay.
Come on, Tyler! Come on, Tyler! Come on, James!
And here comes James Cruz right behind him. Really strong finish for James. He's only, I believe he's ninth grader. I was going to say 8th grader. Here comes Sarah Paul. 21 flat for Sarah Paul. Now here's this runner here. When you see a runner sprinting like that, he left a lot out on the course. He could have run faster before. That's a common mistake that runners are unable to judge your pace. You get that with experience. It's not a criticism of him. It's just that his next race he'll realize that he can run faster and still be able to finish strong. Here's the second. This is Jim Madero's daughter, Emily, finishing second. And here comes Katrin Herdick. Obviously the heat has really bothered Katrin because she was right up with those other two girls when halfway through the race. Some runners are not good hot weather runners. Others they thrive in it. 22 flat, 22:09 for Katrin. That's still an excellent time on this course. Here comes two more Saranac girls. It looks like the Saranac girls are also going to win the girls' race. They've had 4, I believe, already finish. The Northeastern has had Katrin. Here comes the second Northeastern runner.
Good job.
Emily!
Come on, Emily! Come on, Emily! Come in! Good job, Emily! Come on, Eric! Come on, Eric! Come on, Eric! Come on, Eric!
You can do it, Aaron!
Good job, Eric!
Come on, Aaron!
Good job, Mike! Good job, Mike!
The reason I'm silent there, I was trying to look over my notes and dig up the name of those Northeastern girls, but I've misplaced it somewhere.
Let's go, Mel!
Well, they know who they are.
Any parents that happen to see this, I'm not. I've tried to identify as many as I can.
Next time they can stand right alongside of it.
There you go. Here comes Radar Wilson. Radar has been plugging away at cross country and track. He's a senior this year.
Okay. Come on, Melissa! Come on, Melissa! Strong to the finish, Melissa!
Now here comes another Northeastern girl. Very good running form. Very powerful at the finish, and as I mentioned before, probably a little misjudged pace there. And that comes with experience where you run closer to your full potential the whole race. It's in this type of heat, 90-degree heat, this is a very grueling course. It's hilly and it's hot. The runner just crossed, the finish line was 25:59 for 3.1 miles. That's still probably about 8:40 a mile in this 90-degree heat. And that runner was one of the last finishers. We still have probably 4 or 5 runners out on the course. But you can see the ability of these young people. They can run 8-minute miles in this heat, and they're still finishing way back in the pack. So the people at the top of the pack are 17 minutes is under 6 minutes a mile in this heat, the winning time. The beauty of cross-country racing is that you're racing as an individual, but it's also a very team-oriented sport. Wherever you finish in the race, you're displacing somebody, and that point that you displace way back in 35th place might be the difference between your team winning the meet and losing. So, very team-oriented sport. Northeastern runner just finished in 27:39. Here comes another Northeastern girl. She's wearing a t-shirt under her blouse, under her bib, which I wouldn't advise in this weather. As you can see, most of the girls just have their bib on. But she'll learn through experience that this type of weather, you probably should not wear something like that. It's too hot. Yeah. This is Leah Demore. Callie. Okay. Here comes a Saranac girl finishing. She's running pretty strong. You can see she's fatigued though. Her head is sort of lolling to one side there. That means that she's put out a lot of effort. But she's still game. She's still running pretty strong. Again, I apologize for not knowing the names of all these runners. 30:25 was her time. Here comes another Northeastern runner. Looks like a young lady. I would gather that she is. She's got a ponytail flopping behind her there. She needed all the boost that hill gave her coming down there.
Good job. How's your time?
Go Mal.
Good job.
Here comes another, I believe is this a Saranac runner? Yeah. Yeah, it's Saranac runner. Ausable Valley did not field a girls team at all today.
Come on, you're almost here.
Yeah, these Saranac runners.
Okay.
Here comes another Saranac runner through the 3-mile mark. Now this, I believe is it a young lady? She has tights on, which is on a 90-degree day like this, it's really really making her body cook. She should not have been wearing something like that. Because you tend to overheat anyway, even with just a skimpy tank top and a pair of shorts on, but she's definitely overdressed for this type of weather.
I think Frank, when a lot of these kids went to school this morning, they were just getting over temperatures last night.
That's
in the
right,
40s.
40s, yeah.
So they didn't know what to expect today, and they probably overcompensated for the heat.
Here comes the second Ausable runner. They only had two competing. This is a young Smith lad from Clintonville. Little village I lived in 50 years ago, and there were Smiths in Clintonville at that time. Here comes another Saranac runner. She's finishing strongly too. Here comes the Northeastern runner. I believe Mr. Power said it was Samantha. I'm unfamiliar what her last name is. I heard him mention that in the distance. Friends and family will know who she is.
So I guess that's the last one, Frank.
It appears to be.
As she comes across, we'll wrap up this presentation. And we'll give you the closing remarks as we finish this race.
Come on, we got a runner on the car. Runner coming in. Come on, Samantha.
Well, we obviously know that her first name is Samantha, as mentioned before, because several people have been cheering her on.
Hey, Sam.
Right here, Sam.
Okay. Yeah, you've seen the race today, and from what I've seen of Jim Maderos' Saranac team, they're going to be a big factor in the CVAC race this year. Looks like they're going to give Saranac Lake boys and girls a run for their money, especially with that the kid that the nephew of the coach came in from, Kyle Jones came in from New Hampshire, and he won the race, even though he lost about 50 yards in the last quarter of a mile by taking a wrong turn, which is not unusual on this course. All the ups and downs to go across the hills and make it a tough course tends to be confusing if you haven't run it before. And obviously this is the first time he'd ever been on the course to run on it. But he did an outstanding job. He would have broken 17 minutes if he hadn't taken that wrong turn. He'd been under 70. He was 17-16 at the finish. He probably would have been about just around 17 minutes, maybe a little bit under. Tremendous time for this time of year in the heat. And as his coach said, he's really not in top condition. He had all last year off with illness. So I think we can look forward for them being a factor in the race. The Northeastern team didn't do badly. They needed one more runner to place inside the fifth Saranac runner, and it would have been very close for the team title, which didn't happen. But they have a lot of potential. They have a 9th grader who's a neighbor of mine, I believe Jamie Cruz. I believe the first name is Jamie. He lives down the street from me. I know his parents well, and he's only a 9th grader, and he finished well today. So he's their 5th runner. And if he continues to improve this year, they could be the Northeastern boys team could be a factor. The Saranac girls very strong team. You know, they were strong last year. They've been strong right along. Jim Medeiros continues to produce one strong team after another in cross country, particularly cross country. His track teams are up and down, but the cross country is consistently strong. And it looks like his girls are going to be a factor in the race again this year.